holiday season. Getting ready to prepare a turkey sous vide style. I'm gonna do it for Thanksgiving, but you could also do this for Christmas. What I have here is a nice 13.5-pound turkey. I'm gonna pull that out, cut it out, clean it up. We're gonna put it in a 2-gallon freezer Ziploc bag, and we're going to use some chicken broth to eliminate the air out of the Ziploc bag, and we're gonna sous vide that at 150 degrees for 24 hours. This is a marathon, folks. It's not a sprint, just like the remainder of the eating that we're gonna have to do over the next couple of days. Okay, so I got my bird all pulled out and cleaned up. No feathers. I was looking for the little pop out, the thing that lets you know when the meat is at temperature. Could not locate it, so I'm assuming that is not on this one, so they must have missed it. But they did a good job of cleaning it up, but I like to wash it down anyway. And of course, when you're dealing with poultry, turkeys or chicken, you want to make sure you keep your workspace clean. And be careful also working with turkey that you don't accidentally get stabbed by one of those turkey bones, because that can be bad for you. Anyway, that 13.5-pound bird fit nicely into this 2-gallon thing. I'm putting that into an empty tub because I want to start filling with water, but I don't know what my displacement's going to be. So I don't want to overfill it. On my sous vide machine here, the Nuovoware, it's got a minimum and a maximum line, and you want to make sure you are between that, closer to the maximum, especially if you're going to be doing this for 24 hours, because you are going to have some evaporation. But by putting the turkey in the bag in the tote, and starting to fill with water, that will start to help push some of the air out of the bag, because we want as little as air as possible. Most of the time, the point of doing sous vide is to vacuum seal your meat before you sous vide it, because you want that perfect contact of the warm water circulating around the meat. One of the purposes we fill the bag the remainder of the way with the chicken broth is because you have the cavity of the bird, and you want to transfer that heat inside the bird to all the meat at the same time for a duration. So I want to make sure I've got enough broth in the bag to do that. So I'm only going to fill this partially full with water. Then I'll add in the chicken broth until I'm satisfied that I've got most of the air out and that we have good contact, water to meat in the bag. And then we're going to start the sous vide. Okay, now it's time to add that chicken broth. I'm gonna start pouring it into the cavity. Okay, so it's Thanksgiving, and one of the things that I'm thankful for is all the time that I got to spend with my grandparents. We spent every Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house, and she had this tiny little kitchen, but it was amazing. The amount of food and the quality of food that she would produce on these holidays. Her house was small, but was full of love and would be packed with people every holiday. People would just stop by. That was the kind of house it was, because they always knew there was food and love to be had. And that is one of the things I'm thankful for. And I'm thankful for the new traditions that me and my family are creating. So, somebody's at the front door. Talk about people just stopping by. Anyway, we've got our 13-pound turkey in the 2-gallon bag. We've added 2 48-ounce and most of a 32-ounce chicken broth to the bag. We got all the air out, got it Ziplocked, and it is submerged nicely in this tank. So I went in and added the water, brought it almost all the way to the max line that's indicated on my sous vide machine. And we're gonna put this in a place where it's not gonna be in the way for the next 24 hours while this thing cooks at 150 degrees. Then it'll be time to pull it out, pat it dry, season it, butter it, and throw it in the oven. get it to that beautiful gold, crispy color that we all enjoy. Also, one more part. While I was cleaning the turkey, we pull the neck out, the neck bone. There's actually a lot of pretty good meat on there. So my wife will be kind enough tonight while I'm getting drunk to boil this up, and we'll just suck the meat right out of all the little joints. Then we also have the little bag of giblets, the heart, gizzard, liver, whatever other parts they just decide to throw in this little bag for us. And we'll fry those up for the cat and the dog. Marley, does that make you happy? Okay, so our neck and gizzards and livers and innards are all done. We boiled them on the stove tonight while our turkey is still cooking away right there in our water bath.
Remember, you like this light too.
Okay, so you might have noticed I strained the extra parts, and we're saving that juice. That juice will go into the stuffing. And so, yeah, we're getting really excited about tomorrow. Okay, so we're slicing up the gizzards and livers. Got a little piece of heart here. I took a little bite, but this is for Marley. Here you go, Marley. Want the heart? That good? Okay, so one of our Thanksgiving traditions is me gnawing on the neck bone.
Yeah, dug it out of the ground myself.
It's good stuff. And watching National Lampoon's Christmas Family Vacation. Hey, good morning. It is Thanksgiving morning. It's finally here. And I decided to put on my I Believe shirt because I believe this turkey is going to turn out good. This is definitely an experiment, so we don't know, but I believe. So anyway, you can see now we've been at 151 degrees for 24 hours. So I'm gonna unplug the sous vide, and it's time to take this thing to the kitchen. So that's a 13.5 pound turkey, about 8 pounds of broth, and a lot of water. So I made sure to do my stretching this morning before I lifted that. Does that look?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we got the bird out of the broth, and you can tell it is thoroughly cooked. It doesn't look great, but it's definitely cooked. So I'm really hoping that baking it in the oven at 450 degrees for about 45 minutes is going to give this thing a nice crispy surface, and will make it a much more appealing meal to at least look at. But I feel pretty confident it's going to taste great. But you can see 24 hours at 151 degrees, it's fully cooked. That's good living. Yeah. Can I put the track in?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the critical things that you want to make sure you do after the sous vide is really get this thing dry. Moisture is your enemy when you're trying to get that nice crispy finish. So I'm going to pat it down with a paper towel, get as much moisture off, and then I'm just going to let it sit and chill. Let it dry out, kind of air dry naturally while I prepare my other sides. We're doing mashed potatoes, and if you want to see how I do my mashed potatoes, you need to go back to my pork roast video. We're going to do some stovetop stuffing, which I love. I know a lot of people like to do homemade, but I love the stovetop, and of course some green beans. And then wifey's throwing some pies in the oven for dessert. That's one thing nice about this method is you don't have to take up the oven all day long messing with the turkey. We only need the turkey in there for 45 minutes, so that'll give us time to take care of some of these other things.
Done? All right. Okay.
Okay. So, our bird is nice and dry now. We're having a frosty. I'm also sauteing some butter and garlic, because that's going to start our drizzle. So I'll take that garlic and butter, just kind of coat the bird with it. That's going to help us with our nice crispy glaze. Also, that will help my spices, which basically is going to be it's a Greek seasoning, which is really good for poultry. Some fresh salt, some pepper, just a little bit of rosemary. And then I've got the oven preheating. It's going to be the 450 in no time. We'll let that go for 45 minutes or so. We'll keep an eye on it. We want to make sure it gets golden brown and crispy, but not over crispy. I think the dark meat's going to turn out really good. It's pretty much ready to go, but I am worried about possibly drying out the white meat, but I think we're going to be okay. I also have some broth that we made from the neck bone last night. My wife did that for me. I added a little more chicken broth and then finished up to 3 cups total with a little bit of water. I've also got a stick of butter, and that's going to go in the saute pan, and I'm going to bring that to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, I'll throw in my stovetop stuffing and start to let it puff up. Get it out of my face. Okay, you ready?
No.
Okay, so another thing I like in my stuffing is mushrooms. And Lena doesn't like mushrooms, but she decided she's gonna make mac and cheese instead of eating the stuffing. So she'll be on her own with that, but I'm adding mushrooms, pieces and stems. And I'll just stir that in and let it suck up that mushroom juice. Get that stirred in real good. Then we cover it, take it off the heat. Now we just let that stand for about 5 or 10 minutes and it'll be ready. Okay, so take a look at our stuffing. We went ahead and also added some celery at my beautiful bride's request. So that's starting to look good. We're actually gonna transfer that to a new container here in just a minute. Free up a pot for Lena to make her mac and cheese. We've got our French green beans starting to simmer here. And added another jar of mushrooms to those because, like I said, I love mushrooms. We've got 2 different gravies going. We got a mushroom gravy, which I will probably use on the stuffing, and then we got turkey gravy starting to simmer that we'll obviously put on the turkey. Our turkey's all ready to go in the oven now. Oven is preheated to 450 degrees. Like I always say, Kerrygold Irish butter, that yellow, beautiful, goldy goodness. That's what I like to use. So we're gonna put that baby in there. And hopefully she turns out beautiful. Okay, so sometimes you can have too many cooks in the kitchen, but Lena wanted to make some mac and cheese to add to our feast. So she's got this gourmet mac and cheese going. Green beans are still going. Our gravy's nice and toasty. Getting ready to check on the bird. Excuse me, Lena. Oh, the camera kind of got fogged up there, but she's getting crispy. She's looking pretty good. Okay, so we have this beautiful bird out of the oven. We were at 450 for right at about 40 minutes. And you can see the steam's rolling off, so we're gonna let her cool down a little bit. But yeah, let's start carving this thing. Look at that dark meat. We got white meat. This is good stuff. Just kidding. The turkey turned out perfect.
Go.
Oh, look at that. I was worried about the white meat drying out, but it's really not too bad. Let's get a little bite. It's not as moist as I'd hoped for, but it's still not dry. And I'm sure glad we're gonna have the gravy. But nah, this is as close to perfect as I think I could have gotten trying to bake a turkey traditionally. And it didn't take a whole lot of effort, just a little bit of planning. So stay tuned. We're gonna plate up here in just a few moments.
No, actually I'm not.
Okay, so happy holidays from the Silver Pop family to yours. We got our sous vide turkey. Turned out as best as I think it could. It's been a great year. Got lots to be thankful for. And I tell you what, this meat is nice and juicy. The white meat ended up a little bit dry, but the gravy helps. Mashed potatoes are good. The stuffing is excellent. And we're gonna pair this with a Chateau Michel dry Riesling, Columbia Valley. They, and I'm not sure who they are, say that this is the best pairing for a turkey dinner. So, cheers to you and your family. This is good living.